Hi, good morning. This is a reflection on lesson 199 in A Course in Miracles. We're almost at 200. 199 says, I am not a body, I am free. I'm just going to read the very last thing in this lesson. It says, I am not a body, I am free. I hear the voice that God has given me, and it is only this my mind obeys. So it talks about how as long as we perceive ourselves as just a body or living in the body, then we're immediately limited because the body's limited. It's meant to be. And so it says wherever we seek freedom, it's going to have to be beyond the body, because freedom means we're not bound. Well, being in a body means we're bound. So how do we truly identify? Like, what is our true nature? Is it the body? And if so, then there's just going to be a lot of perceived suffering, and we just see ourselves locked up in the body, and we identify with the body, maybe overly identify as being a body. And so it says, like, well, what is then, how do you get out of the body? And so, to hear the true voice inside, like our true, like, not the noise of the outside world influencing our thoughts, but what is our true voice? What is our true mind, our body mind beyond the body? So, what for me, it just comes down to, I don't even want to say the word meditation, because I feel like however I become still, to me, becoming still is the meditation process, like becoming more and more still, and also becoming more and more like I feel like I have arrived. I'm in this moment. You might call it grounded, you might call it present. Oh, I love, like, it's a Saturday morning, and I don't work a lot of Saturdays, so I came in early for a couple clients, and it's a rainy, stormy morning, and it just feels so dark and cozy in my little office with my little lights. I love it. So it just reminded me because the thunder just thundered. So whatever it means to come into stillness, where we're tuning out our mind, our noisy brain, the way it works, and we're tuning out anything external and saying, like, well, with all of that quieted, it falls to the background. What is here right now? And sometimes I get to the point of like, oh, the self is gone. There's no self here. The self being how we identify with thoughts, with the body, all that stuff the lesson's talking about. Well, what is here without the identification, the ID, the ego, without attaching and creating a story about who I even am, who this body is, this persona, this whatever that is layered onto whatever is underneath of that, which is our true essence, that true voice we can listen to when all that other noise is quieted, all those other layers peeled back, even if temporarily. So I love thinking about that, like, because when I meditate, like if I'm doing like a true sitting meditation where I actually pull out my mat, create a quiet space, sometimes I just feel like I'm meditating with coffee, watching the birds. So this kind of meditation where I'm purposefully sitting is, sometimes I'm like searching, like, where is the self here? And then something might bubble up. I'm like, yeah, that's just a story. That's just an identification with some attribute or some history or something about that I take myself to be. So I love that, because it's like, am I the pain in my knee? No, I don't identify with it. But some of us can. Like, I actually do have a story about that. And I do identify as somebody who has like an injury that is still painful. And then I have to question, well, what even is, like, that's where I understand a little, just an inkling about what it means to identify with a pain, with an ailment, with an illness. And that keeps us trapped in the body. We feel trapped in the body when we don't feel well, right? We feel more limited. And that's what this lesson was about. Like, it's the identification process with things, with these, whatever we take ourselves to be, that keeps us not in freedom, keeps us locked into the body, into these stories about who I am. Well, I am this, this is me. But there is a me like more primary than all of this, more fundamental. And it's the thing that, oh wow, it doesn't really have a personality. It doesn't have preferences. Like I talked about yesterday, whenever I talked about preferences, like what even is having a preference? It's identification with something, some attribute that we're like, yes, I'm going to pull that into me. That's part of me. That's what makes me me in the everyday world. And then there's a me that has no me-ness to it, right? That is, oh, this me that has come into stillness in this presence, in this moment, with all that other noise aside, that essence doesn't really have preferences. Everything's okay here. I'm not needing anything to make me feel whole, because I'm whole already. And if I remove all the junk that makes me feel unwhole, oh, I have no need for preferences. Everything is peachy. Even when it's not really that great, like in like our everyday world. Like we have pains, we have responsibilities, we have whatever that makes us feel like, ugh. To me, those are layers on top of the wholeness, the sense of peace that is in there. I say in here in the body as if like this lesson is all about we're not just a body, but like at the core of who we are. So I naturally just want to point inward to my core, is something beyond body, beyond circumstance, beyond suffering. Suffering is the identification with all those things. It's kind of like to have a preference makes me think of like how, oh, I'm planting a flag in this, whatever it is that I have a preference about. That means I've excluded everything that is not that, if our preference is strong. Wow, immediately the energy goes from all these possibilities of what I could experience and find joy in, or curiosity in at the very least. And even the curiosity to say, ew, that's disgusting. Like, I don't prefer that, is a fun discovery. But once we stake a claim in something, we go from all this possibility down to like one little thing. It's a contracting kind of energy. But to realize, like, what is even having preferences? Like, what is this identification with a body? Like, oh, this body and this personality loves sushi. I think that's the example I used the other day because I love sushi. But do I? I remember having experiences with sushi, and each one just felt so good that now I've like summarized that to say, I am a sushi lover. I love it. Well, that's great. And then when I would like, maybe when I lived in LA and I ate sushi a lot more, definitely a lot more, and we'd want to go out to dinner or something. Well, that was a go-to because it's like, oh, we love sushi so much. Do you know how many other amazing restaurants there are in Los Angeles? I could have been eating at. I could have explored more Ethiopian food, Armenian food, like all the foods. And now I live in the middle of nowhere where there's no food beyond steak and potatoes and corn. Just kidding. There's a little bit. But anyway, that's just reminds me about what even is having a preference. What good does it really do us? It helps us find our people. It's a form of like connection. I can say, oh, you love love sushi too. Let's talk about how much we love sushi. So anyway, there's value to having preferences in the relational world. And then when you get beyond the relational world where we truly find wholeness and freedom and peace and joy, I want to say joy in the peace. That's what brings the sense of joy. So it feels a little secondary. There's no use for preferences. They hold no value. In fact, they do the opposite. They contract us back into the body state. So that's what this lesson meant to me. I guess I liked it. At first I was like, whatever. But then the more I reflected on it, the more I liked it. So that's it, 199. We're hitting a mile marker here.